weird interweb issues as of late.
When has that ever not been an issue?
I know, seriously. For serious, man, for serious.
Ah! Why do I see my ugly face online?
Because you're live!
Not sure I approve of this.
But you're
I don't
live!
I don't recall signing a disclosure agreement of my face.
See, the problem is that you signed it one night after drinking a couple beers. So you signed it, sir. You just have no recollection.
But I'm pretty sure that if I don't remember signing it, it's not actually legally binding.
Oh, it got notarized. Making it legally binding. Sorry, sir. I have to say that Borderlands 3 had one hell of a twist that made me smile.
And not question your very existence?
No, I mean, it caused me to go from like screaming and yelling to rejoicing. How about that?
Oh, okay.
It was awesome.
Every once in a while, life is awesome.
Ain't it though?
I don't know. It? Oh.
I think so.
Oh. I don't know. I was asking you.
Brr.
You're the one who, played the game. Or so I'm told.
It was really cool. I don't want to give it away.
I mean, the game
awesome.
could have been a figment of your imagination for all I know.
No. It was
Go away!
Uh-oh. The kids got to stop jumping up and down on the ceiling.
You got to jump stumping up and down on your ceiling, sir.
Sir, I don't jump up and down on my ceiling.
But you are missing out.
Yeah, I'd rather not. One, two, three, four, five. There we go. And then one more. Boo, whoop. Haha.
Oh!
What?
What are you doing up here?
What?
Ah!
Huh?
I have an interloper.
An interloper. Not an interloper, but an interloper?
Yes.
What
I am
the
an interloper cat.
So, my YouTube stream has gone, for some reason, the player has decided to play, like, the episode from 2 weeks ago. It's very odd. And now I can hear myself.
That's creepy.
What are you doing, Zelius?
What is who doing?
I can hear myself.
What?
I can hear myself on your side.
I'm not doing anything.
Something must have changed. Oh, there we go. Can you hear me now?
Yeah? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. All of a sudden, yeah, I can hear. I don't hear myself anymore.
Did you change anything, or just match
No, I touched nothing.
It was probably Rose. She probably ruined it.
Damn it, Rose! How many times have we had this discussion, Rose?
No, you'll sit like this for the next hour and a half, and you'll like it. Damn it!
Right. Yeah, that'll be the day. Rose like, ha ha ha! You're stupid.
Really? You're back for more?
Say, oh yes. Oh yes. For I am the master.
Just stay out of my way. That's all I ask.
All right. I think we're good to go, sir. As long as Rose approves.
I think she's fine as long as she gets her kibble.
Kibble bits and kibble. And of course, I just lost the. Damn it.
Don't lose the damn it.
I lost the damn it. Damn it.
Where is the damn it? I'm so confused.
I found it. Never mind. All right. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on to your boxer shorts.
What if I left my boxer shorts at home?
You're at home.
Oh, well, then I'm in a good place.
There you go, sir. All right, here we go. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Dischielta Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
Thursday night here on the show. It is the only place I'd rather be than sitting on my couch playing video games. This is next line.
Ladies and gentlemen,
after all, this is a show about video games, so why not?
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, I am your host, Charlie, and I'm joined once again by the prolific commoner himself, Zelios.
And I apologize. I think I have hair in my mouth.
That's okay, Zelios.
Not my own hair
either. Indie Cluster! I'm glad that you, too, like the games. So this, of course, is the Thursday Night Hangout. This is a weekly live show where we try our best to cover the topics that are most important to you during our show. If you haven't yet got a chance to submit a topic, please do so by dropping it into the chat. And we will try to add it to our discussion. If, unfortunately, we run out of time, we will add it to the very beginning of our next show. So, without further ado, let's get down to the topic. All right.
And what is our first topic, good sir?
The first topic is, ladies and gentlemen, Zelius wants to tell you why he missed last Thursday.
Oh, yes. I was not expecting that. I missed last Thursday because our high school varsity robotics team won a virtual scrimmage in which we competed against other teams in Georgia.
Yeah.
Because we have been totally virtual, meaning we cannot see other people in real life. So we did a virtual thing, and it was fun because it's like the most actual head-to-head competition we've had the entire year.
Yes.
So it was quite exciting.
And you won?
We came in first. Yay!
And this is basically as high as you could go because World is canceled, right?
Yeah, so that was like a virtual, non-official scrimmage. And then the next couple of days were then our actual competition, real matches, so to speak. But then, yes, after that, that was like basically the last competition we could have competed in this year. Because the World's competition, which is normally held in Houston, had been canceled a month or so ago due to basically the
COVID.
The what?
The COVID. COVID. The 19, damn it.
Not very well.
Okay. Well, congratulations to Zelius and his team.
All
right. So the topic that we were going to talk about last week, but we had to postpone it to this week, is a very well-known company out there, Intel, has decided to throw their hat into a ring that is, I don't know. So here's the deal. As many of you know, companies around the world are trying to deal with toxicity in their gaming environment, their working environment, all that stuff. And so you have all these different companies or solutions. Intel has the latest and greatest, and that is called, I believe it's called Bleep. And it basically is going to be it's going to be a self-improving AI algorithm that will filter voice chat so that you don't have to deal with all the curse words or all the negative words while you game. Of course, once again, trying to combat game toxicity. Now, of course, there have been tons of companies who have tried to combat this. Some of them have just basically gone with we're going to ban you for 10 minutes. There's also quite a few instances of self-reporting, but let's be honest. If there's a very good chance that you have enough dickwads out there who will decide to basically gang up on an individual who may not be all that good and report them as being the nuisance.
Hmm.
But here's the thing. All right, so Intel's got this brand spanking new thing, okay? And it sounds interesting, very interesting, but I have some
But
problems. Okay, first of all, I made a little note to myself here, and I want to go back and say it. Basically, there's a lot of games out there whose way of battling toxicity is on the same level as if you were to basically fine like a mega superstar, be it like a celebrity, a sports star, you fine them like $20,000 and a promise that they'll never do it again. Like it means nothing. Okay, now, so here's a couple of things that come to mind immediately for me when it comes to this wonderful AI powered voice filter. First of all, in the perfect world, this would be amazing. But let's face it, we ain't in a perfect world. Um,
that's what AI is for, to make it perfect,
yes, but here's
to
the thing.
overcome our human fallible shortcomings.
Touche. Now, Zelius and I were discussing this a little bit last week, and that is okay. So, just the mere fact that you're going to have an application that's going to monitoring your voice chat is cool, but you have so many games and programs out there that are on the lookout for a third-party app or widget or add-on or plugin that will basically either not allow you to load up the game or will basically destroy what they see as a potentially a dangerous application.
I would imagine in that case, though, it should be fairly trivial for if, let's just say, for instance, I'm just picking out a random game, League of Legends, right? If
Yep.
Riot is like, hey, this is actually a good idea, it would be fairly trivial for Riot to be able to basically whitelist this application process or go the step of what I would wonder if would actually happen if basically Intel licenses it to like a Riot and then Riot go ahead and implements the option. It's like a little checkbox, like filtering your text chat.
See, and that's actually one of the things I was thinking was that Intel is basically trying to get this out in front of as many eyes as possible so that they can license it to these developers. But once again, it is an AI learning algorithm. So it's
That's the
not going to be
future.
perfect right off the bat. It's going to
I
have
mean,
to learn.
you already have that. I mean, you already have like earbuds you can buy that will translate from one language to another on the fly. So
Well,
it's
it's not,
not like
I mean, yes, it's pretty much on the fly, but it's not exactly on the fly.
so things like this kind of exist in some form or fashion, and that's, I
Fine.
mean,
It exists in the game of life, damn it.
what is the game of life?
I don't even know at this point. But anyway, so here's the thing though. First of all, is this? I've got like a series of questions here. I'm just going to try to spout them out, and then Zelius and I can discuss. And then, of
Look at
course,
this,
if
Charlie trying to lampoon a idea.
yes, and of course, if you lovely audience members want to, throw in your thought, by all means, derail my discussion for me. And I'm not shitting you, please. So okay, here's the thing. So you got this algorithm. It's going to be self-learning, so it's not going to immediately be perfect. Immediately, I think of the Riot. There's an AI bot. I think it's still there. That's been learning like toxic behavior and trying to combat it in game without having to have someone self-report. But I'm not hearing it making waves or changing everything. So I'm assuming that it's still a work in progress, and that's been a couple years. So you got that. The other thing is, it says that I read a couple of the blurbs and it was going, it will take care of native languages. So if you're so what language are we talking like right out of the box? it's going to have a basic understanding of all the curse words of every single language. Is that even possible? Second of all, what if an individual who is not, let's say that you are playing against someone from France, and your main language is English, so you don't know French, and you're on a voice chat with someone who's from France, and they start spouting a bunch of curse words in French. It's not your native language, but is it going to bleep it? And the reason why I ask this is that I refuse to recognize the fact that I know some French, but I do know curse words. So I'd be very interested to see how that would work out.
You know the important parts of French.
Exactly. Now, of course, another one of the questions was, like I said before, if it's a piece of third party software running in conjunction with the game. In order for this to truly work, it's going to have to integrate with whatever your voice chat thing is going to be. So if
Now,
you can't,
we're gonna go back to the days of using Ventrilo, and it's gonna be an
TeamSpeak, baby,
overlay.
TeamSpeak.
Yeah, yeah, go old school. So we don't need to use that built-in integrated chat anymore.
Yeah,
Use a third-party application, and we're all in the channel. It's gonna be great.
I mean that because that's so it's not going to be native to the game. It's going to be. Let's see. Andy Cluster says F-bomb cultural differences I could see depend on the game and server the players are using, and you're probably right. It probably does have to. It's probably dictated a lot by you're on the EU server or the NA server or what the hell's the other server?
Oceanic.
There you go, Oceanic.
Or you could probably select your language preference too. Like,
true.
do I only care about the English language, or do I also care about? I mean,
Could you do multi-language? You're like, I know 5 different languages
when it comes to chat.
Yeah,
Because a lot of games by default for text chat already have the filter enabled. So how do those work?
right. So, but here's the thing. So it's going to be a third party. It's not going to be built in. As of right now, it's not going to be built in. So my question is, yes, Zelius did a very good example of the earbuds that will basically translate as almost flawlessly from one language to something that you'll understand for when you're talking in a foreign country. But the question is, in video games, like, you need stuff down to the millisecond. So if you're talking about a program that's running outside of that game, that's having to filter the audio conversation that is in the game, how fast is that that thing? Is it causing any type of lag because it's having to go through there? And if so, I mean, that could be the difference between winning and losing.
True.
But here's the thing that really bugs me about this thing right now as it stands. So if you're curious about it, just type in, I think it's Intel AI powered voice filter, and you'll see like they had some presentations about it and all that stuff. And in those presentations and some of the screenshots, you'll see that it pulls up basically like a dialogue box with a bunch of options. There's one that basically rates like the severity of the language. Like, I don't want any curse words, or only the worst, which is kind of weird because that's completely up to whomever is playing the game as to what is a terrible curse word. But here's the thing that really bothers me, and this is kind of, I say this jokingly, but at the same time, it really pisses me off. And that is that technically, what you could do with this wonderful program is you could stop all the curse words from coming in, but you could still be a racist, sexist, homophobe, because those you can like the N-word. The N-word is its own thing. So you could turn it on or off. It's not part of like, a package of words. So, no, fuck, shit, damn, whatevers, but you can still say all those other words, which I refuse to say. But, you could be as sexist as possible. You could be as bigoted as possible, and you could be as homophobic as possible.
Well, I mean, it's also that person may be that way from an end user perspective.
Right.
It's also about, for me, I don't really care if the other person is being a racist homophobe if I'm not hearing it. Like, it doesn't affect me. It only affects me insofar as much as if I'm actually hearing what they're saying. So if they're using all these homophobic slurs at me and I'm not hearing it because this filter is bleeping it out, then they're just basically yelling at empty air then and being angry and not really affecting me. So good job.
I just it just I it's not I believe me, I know that there's individuals out there who are racist, who are sexist, who are homophobic, who are uh, xenophobic, and I'm just going to keep naming phobics here. But you know, and I understand that, but I just to basically set give you a system that you could basically personalize the level of, I guess, icks is just a little. I don't know. It's just weird to me.
I can see that. I mean, it's also, I think, well, I don't think there is a recognition that there's just a lot of toxicity in video game chat. And this is Intel's way of recognizing that and being like, hey, uh, this is something that could potentially be done to combat that isms in your video games, which we all know well exist in especially competitive video games.
True.
In particular, where there is rankings and that competitive nature really brings out the assholism in people. Um, and really, it seems like, for my experience at least, that's what gets them to rage. I mean, my times of playing, for instance, MMOs,
Hmm.
even in random pickup groups, even if you're screwed up, there was rarely rage because you didn't really necessarily lose any. Like, you lost time, I get that,
Right.
but it rarely meant you didn't like complete the mission or the dungeon in the end. You didn't like lose your ranking. You still got your purple loot at the end. Whereas if you have a bad player, like let's just say Overwatch, because that's what I play,
Hmm.
and you know you're going to lose it, that's when it starts coming out because you lose your magic SR rankings. You went down from, you know, platinum to gold because this other player was with you.
Hmm.
That's where it seems like people start losing it. And there is, it also because it's a zero sum game. Like going back to MMOs, you still gain something even if you're with a terrible player.
Right.
The only thing you probably lose is time. Whereas in competitive games of ladder based games, you actually lose,
Everything.
people like their sense of worth and dignity. And then they take it out on other people in not appropriate ways
True.
because
I
they
mean,
don't know how to handle losing.
right. I mean, you know, with an MMO, at bare minimum, you could fail the mission, but you're going to gain experience that could potentially help you level up later. And you know, in these, um, you know, first person shooter games, these squad based games, you know, there's not really a leveling. I mean, yes, there's like an in game leveling up in certain games where you know the longer the match goes, the more powerful you are, but then you're going to start from 0 or 1 the next match, so there's nothing that carries over. Um, but oh damn, I had something and Zelius made me forget it. Oh
Ha
no, no. So
victory.
so here's the thing though. So the one thing that I'm afraid of for this, and
That's one thing.
anybody who tries to try to create something like this, it's a good idea. Like I said, it's a very good idea. In a perfect world, be beautiful, but there are always going to be new uh, terms, new slang that you're going to have to add an additional toggle button to. And I just fear that if you allow for, you know, multilingual, uh, I guess, you know, voice chat scan, that you're going to have this monstrous on off like circuit board of like 200 things that you have to click individually. You know, that just seems really crazy. Also, this is, and I just had this thought. How about this? Instead of putting it in the game, have it work while you're streaming. So it's not filtering out anything for you, but it's filtering out your garbage as it's being streamed so you don't get in trouble on your stream.
I mean, that would be a natural application of it, it would seem. What would actually be fascinating to me and maybe even a little bit of lightning
Mm-hmm.
is, I mean, I'll just take myself for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm playing, let's just say Overwatch, and let's just say, I mean, it's intended for an incoming person, but maybe I turn it in for the outcoming filter.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe, I don't know, let's just say I get flagged for misogyny. That could also be enlightening from a personal perspective.
Right.
To almost be like, oh man, I was using these terms and I didn't even realize it.
Right.
Because I think, most of the toxicity we think of is very obvious and obtuse, right? It just smacks you across the head.
Yep.
But there's also the institutionalized racism and misogyny, which are built into the system, which people, myself included, are going to use terms probably without even realizing it.
True.
Um,
Well, it's
and
also
it,
there's also connotation that you have to take into consideration. I don't know how it's going to keep up with that.
yeah, so I think that could be an interesting application. Maybe from the streaming perspective of maybe I'm using some term I didn't even know I was using in a video game,
Mm-hmm.
and it's
Mm-hmm.
upsetting people. I think that's entirely possible that does happen to people in general who mean well and don't even know it.
Yeah.
Um, Now, what I would be curious of is this something that like a YouTube or Twitch would also use for a flagging of channels? Because we always talk about advertisers, right?
Yeah.
That's been an issue with Twitch, and advertisers not being happy with being on this stream because it has a very, let's just say, homophobic overtone to it.
Yep.
Well, maybe they implement something like this where it's like, hey, look, advertisers, this channel's no longer homophobic because we implemented this. Um,
Well, they're just not. They don't sound
I mean,
homophobic. I mean,
it's
they
not
could
like
still.
the streamer's not going to actually change their actions,
Well,
most
of
likely,
course, yeah.
but it's a way for Twitch to maybe assuage the advertisers.
True.
Like, well, it's not really as bad as it seems. It's the CYA, right?
Yeah.
It's risk management. To
Absolutely.
reduce your exposure as much as possible sometimes matters more than actually doing anything about it. And
Right,
this
but
is
I.
actually, I mean, if it actually works, it's maybe easier to implement this of flagging channels than it is to actually ban people, because that never seems to go well. But if you can have you know, let's consider in this context Intel an independent third party,
Mm-hmm.
and their product, independent of Twitch, is flagging you for hate speech. You can still stream, but you just have this nice little tag, and now advertisers XYZ are like, hey, if this channel's been flagged with hate speech, we don't advertise on it.
True. I mean, it potentially, if it was, if the algorithm was close to perfect, it could definitely, you know,
You know,
uh, help.
well, it would obviously require some fine tuning.
Yeah.
I
How
mean, that's the
about how
whole
about
point, right?
accents?
What's that?
How about how people pronounce words?
Well, like I hate Siri. Siri infuriates me because like I feel like half the time it doesn't. I don't feel like I know half the time it doesn't understand what I'm saying correctly. And
Half the
so
time, no one understands you, Zelius. Sorry.
what's that? Sorry, I got something in my head.
Oh, jeez. So
Um,
am I.
but to that point, though, I mean, you do make a valid point, and that where that's going to have all these different accents and people playing.
Mm-hmm.
There's a good chance it's going to also misrepresent what a person is actually saying. At least with Siri, I can see what I'm typing.
Well,
Whereas
yeah,
with
you
this, I don't have that.
true. First of all, Sam, you're in a timeout. Sam just said, "Where do you go to fix a woman's watch? Nowhere. There's a clock on the oven." Um, but so yes, trying to. The thing is, once again, it's a great idea. I just don't know how it could feasibly be like implemented because you have so many languages, so many different dialects. You have accents and uh, you know, if you say certain words in a certain combination, it's offensive, or But the other thing is, let's say that you are a cursing bastard and you can't help. You have to use a very long laundry list of things, but you have someone who has the the filter in place. How fast is it going to switch off that bleep? Because
Hmm.
once again, thinking from a strategy point of view, let's say that you're in a squad-based game and you're trying to give out directions. Someone has that filter on because they don't like certain words that you say. Is it going to be able to bleep it fast enough to still allow you to get all the information you need? Or are you just going to be constantly going, what? Huh? Can someone say that again?
Oh, wonderful questions. Whereas New World really has, it really, I think, has the potential to be something special.
Yeah, they kept pulling it back because they knew that they had to get this as close to right as possible.
Yeah, no, I think it has a solid chance of actually doing well in the world. I'm looking forward to seeing more. We'll say that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I can say that with the NDA. I'm looking forward to seeing more.
Yeah, you could say that. Just can't tell about any of the content in the game.
Yeah, it's
They use
look,
so
try to get an
much
alpha
green.
invite.
Huh?
Try to get the alpha invite. They are free if you can get one.
So I guess you just go to their homepage. You could probably slap your info in there and then get an email.
I mean, I only played probably like honestly about 3 to 4 hours, but it gives me enough to know what the core of the game is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
To be like, yeah, this is something I can look into.
Sweet. Yeah.
Of course, the question is it going to be canceled? I mean, I hope it isn't, but as we've seen, Amazon does not have the best track record of not canceling their video games.
Or studios.
Mm. I mean, they're only spending what, $465 million on the first season of Lord. That's why they're canceling all the games. They're spending like $600 million on season 1 of Lord of the Rings.
So okay, so let's change gears. Is like the new like I guess threshold of this is going to make your show good is how much money you spend on it. Like if it's the biggest amount of money that they've ever thrown at a TV show, it's going to be amazing though.
I think we've seen that is not always the case. I mean, it doesn't hurt. It's in life, having money sure as hell don't hurt to be happy, but it doesn't make you happy.
But it just like
no different shows. Yeah.
The thing is like, cool. You're spending that much money on it, but I feel like for a lot of the media out there and a lot of the people who's keeping an eye on that are going, well, it's going to be great. I mean, they're really, just dumping tons of money into this, so it's going to be amazing. I'm like, you can't say that. There are so many video games out there who have taken a shit ton of money and given you basically a plate of shit.
Well, the other thing, honestly, that much money in a TV show also says lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of CGI.
Oh, God, yeah.
That's what it also screams to me is like, it's going to be a show of visual effects on the screen.
And how well is it going to blend with your actual human actors and actresses?
And that's something that the original Lord of the Rings trilogy did so well. I mean, obviously there are special effects and green screens, but so much was actually filmed live.
That first movie, Gandalf changed sizes like a motherfucker. He was basically, the hobbits came up to his knee in one scene and was like at his waist the next scene, and then it's like head was the size of a hobbit. You're just like, what the? But yes, yeah.
But yeah, it was like one of like the last big movies before everything was all CGI. Whereas now, and that's my worry now, that like now the TV series, instead of at least, feigning and trying to have some realism in it, that's just going to be like 88% CGI. And the only thing that's going to be real is like people talking one-on-one to each other.
Okay, so the other thing that I fear is that they're going to try to, I know, ladies and gentlemen, I am a nerd of many, many years, so I do know that there is a difference between Lord of the Rings and which is, of course, Tolkien, and A Song of Ice and Fire, which is, or as you would know it, Game of Thrones, which, of course, is George R.R. Martin. But I fear that there may be those out there who want to see, like, a Game of Thrones version of Lord of the Rings. And I wonder how they're, if they're going to trade, me, I'm a freaking purist. I want the truth. I want nothing but what you got. So what kind of Lord of the Rings is going to come out? Sam says, wasn't it better when they had to make puppets and models look real? With CGI, anything goes. Looks more realistic, but somehow it's less impressive. Looking at you, Star Wars. To be honest with you, um, there are, if you use the Henson studio, Jim Henson, of course, the creator behind the Muppets and Kermit the Frog and all that stuff, those puppets look fucking real. Like, there's a very good chance that I'm going to see some of his designs in real life. Of course, I'm going to shit my pants because that thing is out of my nightmares, but, they couldn't do that with CGI, honestly.
Well, and just kind of go real quick about what you're saying, Lord of the Rings.
Mhm.
So a big cost of that $600 million, whatever it is, for the
Licensing.
to about 200+ million. That was according to what you read. Who knows how
Mhm.
it actually be when it comes out? But for what the people on the set have said, including like Tolkien historians,
Oh, God.
is that part of the agreement is basically they have to treat what's written as canon. Like nothing they do on the TV show can contradict what has been written by the Tolkien. So as far as
So
the
they
purists, they cannot contradict what's there. Now, obviously, they'll have to expand on it because there's only so much written about the Second Age, that's what this is based around. Is basically the Second Age of Middle Earth. Um, but they cannot like contradict what was actually written in it. They can't all of a sudden be like, well, maybe Sauron was actually kind of a good guy, and
It's just
Elrond was
misunderstood.
actually like the Dark Lord, and there's a little swapping going on when he got the ring. Like they can't do anything like that.
So basically, they won't have as much leeway as oh my gosh, who's the director of the Lord of the Rings series? Why the hell did
Peter Jackson.
yeah, Peter Jackson. They won't have as much leeway as Peter Jackson had.
Well, it's a little bit tricky though, because at one point, no, because they have to follow the books.
Right.
But on the other hand, though, you got to think about it. Lord of the Rings. The trilogy was a story, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the reality is, when you take a very dense thousands of pages of material, you have to change that some to be written for TV. I know you're a purist, but that's just the reality. Whereas if you look at like the Second Age stuff, that's a lot of it's coming from like the Silmarillion and footnotes and other places where it's a story, yes, but it's more of like anecdotal history. Where, to your point, like I don't know if there's so much a story that they have to follow. Like they have to follow like the major plot points of like this happened where the downfall of man happened when he took the ring instead of throwing it into Mount Doom like he could have done. Like they can't contradict that, but how they got there and the events to make it there and all that stuff, that's not necessarily written. So that's the part where Amazon will have
A little
um,
wiggle room.
artistic freedom, is for like what made it so that he changed his mind. I mean, we know it's because of the weakness of man, because that's written in
Oh,
stone.
and they can't do it. Zealous, you just contradicted what you just said.
But like that's where they'll have that freedom, is like how things actually got from point A to point B. We know point B happened. There's no doubt. But maybe how they got there, that's where they'll have some freedom.
Ladies and gentlemen, just if you're curious, The Lord of the Rings has 1,137 pages in it.
Which edition? Because depending on what book you read, it could be a little bit different.
I'm talking about the collective works, like one big ass book.
I feel like mine's much larger than 1,000 pages.
You'd be surprised. But anyways, yeah, good for them. I do find it funny that with the news of like the huge amount of money that was being thrown at the Lord of the Rings TV series, that the news about the Lord of the Rings MMO was being canceled,
Like
and
right after each other, it was like the timing was crazy.
which is really funny because it made me scratch my head. I'm like, wait, but there is a Lord of the Rings MMO. It's been out there.
Oh,
It's been out there forever. forever, and it turns out that that's not the same one. So yeah.
Who knows? Maybe it'll make you go back and play the game again.
No, I'm good. I'm absolutely 100% good. Oops. Helps I actually hit enter. How about that? We'll see. Speaking of TV series, we gotta also mention the fact that happy, sad news. I don't know, but this coming season of Castlevania is going to be its last. But that doesn't mean that Netflix is done with the Castlevania universe. Rumor has it that they're already going to try to basically, bring in another story, but basically end this storyline and start another one.
Nice.
Which it's cool, but at the same time, I'm just like, I don't know. My fear is, I love when I get to see series complete themselves, but then I also fear when series complete themselves because I don't know what it is about writers or directors or anything, but they sometimes find the weirdest ass shit or crazy ass way to end a series that leaves so many people, much more people pissed than satisfied. It's a very rare thing. So I'm kind of worried. I of course want the next season of Castlevania, and I'm worried that the ending's just going to suck balls, like so many shows have in the past.
But on the other hand, I'm excited to see that the Dota anime has been already renewed for season 2.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I thought that was already a done deal, but now it is.
And Dragons, I didn't know. Also, Dragon's Dogma was already renewed for season 2. Also,
weird,
which is pretty cool. So, 2 of the video game animes are already renewed for season 2. I mean, it is interesting to me that like you had those, you had the Fate series from a couple years ago. Like Netflix, all about the animes. They like them to get them on there. It's kind of crazy.
I mean, the thing is, Netflix truly is now competing against the army that is Funimation and Crunchyroll because they've now combined forces.
Well, then they already have the stuff on there, like you can watch Full Metal Alchemist.
Yep.
You can watch not Dot Hack. What's the newer version of Dot Hack?
God dang it! You just said it. Fate.
No.
No.
I wouldn't consider Fate Dot Hack. No. It's actually a video game series. It's on the
Log Horizon? No, that's not it.
No,
but that's that's a dot hack. That's for what the damn it. Now you make me think of it. I can't
Sword
remember.
Art Online.
Huh?
Sword Art Online.
Sword Art Online.
Yeah, Attack on Titan. So you have a bunch of animes.
But here's the thing though. Netflix is having to ramp up theirs so that they can have exclusives. Because a lot of these animes that we just listed, of course, they're going to be were available either on Funimation or Crunchyroll. Now, of course, they're combining forces to make a mega anime streaming service.
Oh yeah, I mean it's just like serialized television. Netflix knows they won't be able to keep those animes forever, so you got to build up your own library.
But like we said in a previous show, it is very interesting that, or I guess interesting and also exciting that when they touch a video game franchise and make an anime out of it, it's been pretty good.
I've been impressed.
Yeah.
Happily surprised, actually.
Yes, agreed. I will continue to watch said series. However, I wish, like, I understand that the regular TV, your cable season shows, like, I don't know, like was it 12 or 24 episodes a season?
Yeah, that's dead.
Yeah, that's dead. And of course, the BBC always, their big franchise shows are usually like 8 or 10 episodes long, And then Netflix, sometimes I feel like they're literally just like, all right, we're gonna put a random, we're gonna put an, we're gonna make a random number algorithm. We're gonna start with 8. We're gonna start with 4 episodes, and it could go up to 16. All right, spit it out. Okay, season 1 is gonna have 4 episodes. Season 2 is gonna have 12. Season 3 is gonna have 7. Like, it's just, I just feel like, you know, to me, because I have OCD, I would like to see the same number every season. Not,
Well,
well,
I mean, it's a online streaming service, so that's they can break the mold of needing your, they don't have to cater basically to your advertising subscription bills. You need that 24 episodes,
boo,
contractual agreement, et cetera, and they can just kind of do it however they want.
boo.
Don't know what to tell you.
Hmm. All right,
Mm.
ladies and gentlemen, I do want to take a quick pause here. I do want to give a quick shout out to just a couple of the peoples that support our show so very much. So without further ado, let me just give you we're going to do 2 shout outs today. The first one, of course, is the Indie Cluster. Excuse me, I choked on myself.
You okay there?
Yeah.
Don't die on me.
The Indie Cluster is an organization of independent game developers that want to gain exposure by being involved in the community. They collectively journey to popular conferences as a traveling booth to help gain attention for their games. They make partnerships in local communities to bring games to the mainstream mindset. They highlight local, unusual, and rare concepts that challenge the paradigm of the common. They also host events to teach kids and minority groups about game development to hopefully one day enter the industry themselves. You want more information? Go to indiecluster.com. Now, of course, the other shout out I have to give is to the one and only Dr. Ryan of Hero Chiropractic. Hero Chiropractic is a unique healthcare practice set up by Ryan Moore, the company's focus to elevate a patient's experience of freedom, creative expression, and joy. They believe that everyone can be a hero and has incredible heroic potential inside themselves waiting to be unleashed. Hero Chiropractic focuses on mobile chiropractic care in the greater Atlanta area. They are committed to healing clients by creating a plan of action uniquely suited for each person. They make that plan of action as convenient and affordable as possible, and most importantly, suited to your individual means. If you want more information and you are in the greater Atlanta area, check out www.herochiropractic.com. And just so you guys know, Alta Confusion is going to be participating in Extra Life for like the millionth time. No, I'm sorry. We'll be participating in it for the 10th straight year. Extra Life is gamers doing what we do best, gaming, to help sick and injured children in our chosen Children's Miracle Network Hospital. Of course, ours will forever be Children's Healthcare Atlanta. The money that we raise through this will go directly to Children's Healthcare Atlanta as unrestricted funds. What this means is that the hospital decides where and how to spend the money to ensure the dollars we raise make the biggest impact in the lives of the kids they treat. So if you want to donate today, all you got to do is go to extra-life.org, search for Alter Confusion. They'll pull it up. Or if you want to get in on the action, let's say that you want to actually partake in it, just once again, extra-life.org, and you find all the information right there. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, Alter Confusion has a Patreon. Alter Confusion survives on the love and support of fans like you. And so we have a Patreon page. Patreon lets you, the fan supporters, become active participants in the work we love through a monthly membership. There's currently 2 levels for the membership. What this membership will give you is access to exclusive content, the ability to see early access to all the playthroughs we create, and also if you go at the $5 a month level, you also get added to Friends of the Show. So basically, as of right now, there is a $1 a month, which would be $12 a year, or a $5 a month, which would be $60 a year option. And all that money goes to Ultra Confusion to help pay for uh, upkeep of equipment. Of course, one day, one very special day, when we get to return to conventions, we will be utilizing that to help pay or cover the cost for conventions. Valkyrie needs food badly. Extra life. Um, what food shall Zelius eat tonight?
That's a
Whatever
fair
food
question.
Rose does not want to eat.
Well, she
Boom.
doesn't get to eat my cat food. That's like I have the good kind. She has to get her own.
Oh, buddy, those are fighting words right there.
Yeah, gotta live in the edge.
Mm. So, Zelius, so have you only been playing New World or have you been playing some other stuff as well?
No, I'm still playing Outriders. That's my main game. I just wanted to give New World a try, like because it's also alpha, so there's gonna be character wipes, or I'm assuming there's gonna be a character wipe. So I was gonna invest in the same amount of time, and I just wanted to play it just to kind of see what did the core mechanics of the game look like.
Mm-hmm.
Is really what I was looking to see if it was going to pique my interest going forward.
I see.
Um, and so outside of that, then I've been still playing a lot of Outriders. Um, it's just like the game, the core gameplay of the gunplay and your
Mm-hmm.
special abilities, I find really fun and engaging. The problem is that the once you get through like the main storyline, the end game is pretty much trash. Um,
How many
because
games? How many games out there really have like a strong end game though?
well, the problem with this game is it's intended to have end game, it's just very poorly executed.
It's
Um,
there.
well, it's twofold. One is so the way you basically the end game's called expeditions. So basically, think of it as like a horde mode where you just have to basically clear enemies, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not the bad part.
Mm-hmm.
The bad part is you get your loot, or the amount of loot is based on how fast do you clear the expedition. The problem with that is twofold. One is some classes natively have higher DPS than other classes.
Yep.
Um, and the other issue too is you have all these different mods which you can modify your weapons, you have different skills, et cetera, et cetera. Well, it's now DPS race. So you literally have to min max in order to clear it on the gold levels. So you've basically reduced extremely your builds,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is lame. Like I played originally was the Devastator. That's basically the tank class. And basically the I can't die build is not effective in expeditions because you just can't kill stuff fast enough. Whereas like I know it's oh my gosh, how it's all brain fart. Warframe, they have other modes, like for instance, like a horde mode, where it's you just get loot based on how many waves can you clear. If it takes you
Right.
10 hours to clear the same waves it takes somebody else an hour to clear, more value to you, you still get the gear, right? That's what I think most of the user base would prefer. The other bigger issue, like whatever, the other terrible issue is the matchmaking multiplayer is
Mm-hmm.
probably the worst I've ever seen in a game. Basically,
Really? The worst you've ever seen in a game?
oh, it's so here's why.
Okay.
So basically, you go to this little school, it's called matchmaking. It asks, do you want to join either a matchmaking game or a story mode game or a expeditions game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if I'm hosting a game, so like when I create a game, I can choose to make my lobby closed, friends, or open. Nowhere in there am I designating, am I playing story mode or expedition mode? So I don't even know how the game determines which type of mode I'm joining because I've joined probably about 20 games
Mm-hmm.
and probably three of them are actually doing expeditions. The other ones are either in story mode,
Mm-hmm.
running around doing quest, or two, people are AFK because the default, well, I think it got changed actually in a patch, but the default either still is or is going to be changed from being open to basically closed or friends only because you would join a lot of times open games of people who are just AFK sitting there. The other problem is so you have expeditions and basically you have tiers 1 through 15.
Mm-hmm.
They do what's called downs, which I hate the idea of, is they do downscaling, meaning if you clear wave 10, that means now if you go back down to wave 8, for whatever reason, those characters' difficulties shrank back up to a higher difficulty to compensate because they figured, hey, you cleared wave 10, so you can clear something harder now, right? The
Yeah.
problem is if I go into a matchmaking and there's no filter, so I join a tier 11 game, it gets clear because I got my ass carried, but I didn't get any weapons. Now I go back to soloing tier 8. It's actually harder now than it was before.
I'm sorry. Sam had to go ask his 10-year-old what AFK meant. Away from keyboard, ladies and gentlemen. No, but you're absolutely right. I understand that there's like a game balancing mechanic. There are definitely games out there that will try to kind of mess with enemy stats to be a little bit, I guess, more challenging for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like if but at the same time, by basically taking into consideration that you may have somehow magically reached wave 20 and now you've jumped in at a a wave 10, and that it's got to be harder than the first time because you actually made it 20. That's some absolute crap.
Well, the other reason it's dumb in a game like this, the loot you get is based on the tier you set. Meaning, like, so if I go back, let's just say I clear tier 20, right?
Mm-hmm.
Going back to tier 10 does me no good because I get tier 10 items. It's not like my tiers magically increase the gear like if tier 10 magically now gave tier, I don't know, I'm just throwing out a random number, tier 15 gear because I cleared level 20, that might be a little bit different, right? Because at least you're compensating for the increased difficulty.
Yeah.
But because that tier 10 is still giving tier 10 items, there's absolutely no logic for also simultaneously increasing that difficulty, which is ironic because one of, I feel like, the really good parts of the campaign is you have a separate system called world tier. And what you can do is you can increase the difficulty of your campaign to increase like the level drops and the legendary drops and that stuff. It means the enemies are more difficult, of course, but it means you can effectively play the game at your difficulty level that you want. Which I think is actually a great system. I love that. It's a fantastic system. It just falls apart when there's absolutely zero rationale for increasing tier difficulty when you already have 15 tier difficulties that you manually select. With the other problem being when I join a game, I have no way of knowing what game I joined. Like there's like no filter, there's no like chat. Like I'm on PS5, I can't even ask like, hey, what tier is this? Just
Jump right in.
yeah, like
Hope for the
that's
best.
yeah, it's just terrible. Like that is the worst. Like the end game is absolute trash, which is unfortunate because the rest of the game is great.
Well, I mean, I can't disagree with you on any of that. I understand it. If you the thing is, you got to compensate the gamers who have made it so far. If you're ramping up the difficulty at all, you got to compensate the players. Now,
well, they do. That's what's weird is they have it where you can manually change it. Like that's what's so bizarre about the scaling is you already manually scale it to get better gear. Like that's what if that option wasn't even there, then it kind of makes sense, right? Because you have to scale it somehow.
mm-hmm.
But because I have that option to change it, that's what makes it all the more of a weird decision on the developer to make the tier more difficult, even though I have this other tier I can already choose, which is more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, you know what I'm saying? That's what makes it really strange to me.
What the other component that you were talking about is the timed component, and that has actually reared its ugly head a couple times with Borderlands 3.
Oh,
And to me, look, I'm like a god among men now. I'm walking around, I can basically 1 or maybe 5 shoot anybody and they just drop dead. But at the same time, like even as uber awesome as I am, there's like, yeah, I got to complete this in 20 minutes. And I'm like, okay. And it's just like wave after wave after wave of enemy, and they're sort of level matching me. So
Okay.
it's not like, it's not like it's it'd be ranked like a level 21 quest. And then I go in there and they've basically pumped up the monsters to like, let's say I don't know what level I am off the top of my head, but let's just say I'm level 50. It's a level 21 quest. All of a sudden all the enemies in there are like a level uh 35.
Okay.
Kind of like an offset. So, to make it challenging. There's a reason why I waited to do this quest later in the game so that I could fly through it, but you basically put speed bumps in there by monkeying around or putting more elite enemies in my path.
Well, and that's what, like sometimes maybe you just want to go back to a lower level and just like raffle stomp everyone. Like maybe you just want to feel like a god and like one shot every enemy with a old pistol you have just because you can. Like but because you go down to that lower level, you also know you're not going to get any gear you're going to use anyways.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're like somehow magically gaming the system. The other thing is, I don't think most players enjoy timed material. Like, it creates this weird level of stress that's like, it's not the fun stress. Like, it's a good stress when it's like hard, you have to think, you have to strategize, you got to do some kiting around. Like, that's fun. Like, when it's got that challenge. But to me, fighting against the clock, knowing I have to defeat these enemies in a quick way, that eliminate it. That's not a fun stress. That's like this is not enjoyable. Does that make sense? Like
No, yeah,
that's
absolutely.
not the fun stress of a game to
No,
me.
what 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 I'd like to see in a perfect gaming world is that you the first time you run through like a special quest or whatever, you can, it's however long it takes, as long as you complete the laundry list of steps you have to do. And then for those interested, then if you want to replay the quest, give a timed option to see, then play it. Because the fact of the matter is, putting a timed option on any quest the first time you play uh, the any game, that level of stress that's being put on you, because you're looking more at the fucking timer than you are. You're not enjoying the game anymore. It's like, okay, I see a bad guy. Look at that timer. Look at the timer. Look at the timer. He's dead. Okay, cool. Go into the next one. Timer. 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 You're not part of the video games for me is that escapism. I want to be able to escape this reality, not basically do what a lot of us do working, and that is watch the clock until it's time to clock out. And that's
Mhm.
literally what we're doing with these timed missions. I mean,
Yeah. So and the thing like so the Outriders like it's actually not far away. Like they basically, in my estimation,
mhm,
they just need to add basically like let's just call it endless horde mode, right?
mhm.
Same exact mechanism they already have. And if you can survive these hordes, you get the gear. Just take out the time mechanism, basically. Like that's really all there is to it. And maybe do it a different way, where instead of like you have to clear all these waves in 5, 10, or 15 minutes, it's for that tier level, each horde you clear, you and hell, it could even be that horde one is spawning at 5 minutes, horde two is spawning at 10 minutes,
Mhm.
and horde three is spawning at 15 minutes to create kind of your own time mechanism. I don't think players would hate that as much because you can still strategize around all the enemies on the field. Um, it just basically have when I create a game, allow me to say this is an expedition game of tier level 10. And
Yeah,
then when I go to join a game, I can then filter out to find games of expedition tier level 10. That's really, I think, all players are looking for.
it sounds simple, but apparently they just haven't figured it out.
Well, they had other problems where like people were losing their entire inventory.
Hooray!
Yeah, that was a fun bug. I never encountered it, but there was a group of players who definitely encountered the you got disconnected from the game,
Hmm.
usually playing with other people, and for whatever reason, everything you have in game was lost.
Oh, that's the exact opposite of what the kind of bug you want to experience, and that is for some reason your inventory, everything just duplicated, just for shits and
Oh,
giggles. Who knows? But it just duplicated.
I remember the original Diablo playing
Yes.
over at Mike's house
Yep.
up in the upstairs, and we thought, all right, we're what, middle school, and we thought we were hot stuff for figuring out the dupe bug in Diablo where you could duplicate gold.
Yeah,
We
buddy.
thought it was the best damn thing ever.
Yeah. Ah, memories. Um, just in case you're
By the
one,
way, apparently Diablo Immortal has reached alpha stage.
no, no, stop that right now.
It's coming. Oh, I do have sad news.
Oh Christ, what happened?
I know it's on our Discord, but Jeff Kaplan has officially left Overwatch and Blizzard,
Oh no. Let
which
look. Let's be honest. Activision's been trying to strangle Blizzard into submission since the merger. They want the name. They don't want the people.
they want to micro transaction the hell out of everything. And basically, everything you read is Kaplan was basically the guy preventing Overwatch as it is being microtransaction to hell. Meaning, like at one time, the scuttlebutt is basically like Activision wanted to do like other games do. We had to pay for releases of maps and releases of, characters being released and that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And Kaplan was like, that's the worst idea I've ever heard. If that happens, you're gonna already kill Overwatch before we got going. Um, and you kind of read it and you kind of like worry like, because not long ago he was like, we got exciting news about Overwatch 2 coming up, so he still seemed excited about it. So it seems
We don't care about Overwatch 1 anymore. Look at this cool 2.
like
Woo!
worry like the worry basically is that he gave up, understandably so,
Mm-hmm.
of fighting the Activision behemoth, and basically Overwatch 2 is going to be a microtransaction hell, is what it comes down to. And it's not going to be the same game because it's going to go to the Activision model of charging for maps and characters and all the other shit, which
They're
what
going to give
basically,
Vicarious Vision the entire development.
yeah.
I mean, they're
So
already
that's
doing a Blizzard project now. They'll just do some more.
so that's the worry, is that this really basically bring like him leaving is really like not a good sign for the development of Overwatch 2 in terms of will it actually be fun?
Trick question. There won't be fun at all. So it can't be or can. I'm sorry. It's just another cookie cutter. We slapped a cool name on it because we thought that, brand recognition would have you buy the game, which is unfortunately the the ability that a lot of AAA publishers have, is that they can slap a recognizable brand on a box and people will blindly buy that crap.
Well, in this case, uh, so before this, Overwatch 2 for me was going to be a day one purchase. I mean, I played the hell out of Overwatch. Now I'm going to be waiting and see.
That actually makes that makes me wonder. I usually like to keep an eye on the categories on Twitch to see what's the most popular
Oh yeah,
ones. So I'm pulling it up. Okay. Let's see here. Where are you? There we go. Overwatch has currently has 17.8 thousand live viewers right now, and when you compare it to something like, let's say, Valorant has 156,000. Fortnite has 131,000. Apex Legends has 55.4.
Path of Exile has 37,000 viewers.
Ultra Confusion has 3. Yes.
Like, I could not imagine watching Path of Exile. That sounds terribly boring.
See, that's the thing that this
I don't get it.
there are certain games and there's certain like genres on some of these streaming services that you're like, how is anybody watching this? And yes, my personal favorite. Oh, where is it? Slots. Like you're watching someone play a slot machine. 100.
999 viewers for Raid Shadow Legends?
Yeah.
I have to no. I don't believe you. That has to be a lie.
I don't know.
I can't. Okay, yeah, I guess there's like raids and there's like 170 people watching a three. I don't get it. Oh, wow.
Yup.
I tried playing the game and I'm like, this is not good. But oh well, whatever. What do I know?
You know, I've found that many people out there do not understand the awesomeness that I see in games and the crapitude of games that they somehow find awesome.
This is a true statement, sir. You have a solid point.
So I know that we're getting kind of near the end, but I did want to show off some new additions to my collection. As many of you may have noticed, I have a little bit of a problem when it comes to Funko Pops. There are 4 new Funko Pops
You definitely
in my
have a problem.
collection. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let me show you some of my Funko Pops. Here you go, ladies and gentlemen. The first one is
Oh wow,
the birthday glasses Deadpool.
that's
Only
weird.
at Target.
Oh,
How about
is it really his birthday though?
I don't know. How about the LARP Deadpool, complete with cardboard sword?
That's pretty hardcore.
And if you want the birthday vibe, how about Deathpool and a cake? Oh yeah. And then finally, just for a slight change of pace.
Do you really like Deadpool or something? I'm very confused.
Yes, I do. And for a slightly different, flavor, I have Spartan Mark 7.
God, what?
Spartan Mark 7
Ah, okay, makes more
from
sense.
Hello.
I did not know who it
I
was.
want, okay, Sam says, I want the retail value of all those Funkos. Okay, so
You should go steal him from his house. I think it'd do him some good.
the collection value is higher than the amount I have spent on the Funko Pops. How about that? It's a shit ton of money I've spent on Funko Pops, but my collection is worth more than the money I've spent. So I've actually, technically, I'm in the black if I were to sell everything, which I'm not.
It's only actually worth anything if you can sell them, though.
True, and there's certain Funko Pops that are worth a butt ton of money. If I can remember what the stupid site is. Pop collection. Nope, not that one. There you go. Pop price guide. I think that's the one. Just because Sam asked, I'm going to tell you my most valuable one. Currently, oh wow, that's interesting. I don't know where that one is because I wasn't expecting that one to be. So I've got a Funko Pop from a TV show, which is a phenomenal TV show. You should watch it if you haven't. It's called Gravity Falls. It was on Disney. Grunkle Stan from Gravity Falls is current. I bought him for $10. Its current value $105.
I definitely have not seen it.
It's good. It's really good. I really, really like it. It's very good. And hell, this wonderful oversized Oogie Boogie is worth currently it's worth $55 when I bought it for $20.
So from August 27th, 2015, Gravity Falls is the best show on television.
Yeah.
According to Forbes.
Yeah. It was phenomenal. And the other thing is that there was the creator had like an end in mind, and he hit the end, of course, easily. And of course, everyone's like, "We want more." He's like, "Really not."
It was the end.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could potentially carry on the story, but like the big story arc happen. It'd be kind of like what if you wanted to do. It's kind of like what what Netflix is trying to do with Castlevania. That
Yeah,
is that arc is complete, but let's continue with this universe because it's good.
makes sense.
But anyways, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I think that Zealous' master is probably calling him.
She
So
is really intently at me, ready to eat my eyeballs.
that sounds painful. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in to the Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. For myself, Charlie, and Zealous, it's been a pleasure giving you everything on our heads, our mouths, and of course, our hearts. We'll be back here we'll be back next Thursday for another Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
Remember, kids, keep on gaming in the free world.
Amen to that, brother. Hell, so I turn my mic back on.
Nah, maybe it's better with it off.
So during the length of the show, which I think was an hour and 18-ish minutes, basically trying to go at 60 frames per second, we dropped 8,300 frames, and our kilobytes per second was at sometimes 0. It's currently at 3,400.
Well, the strange thing is, so like the embedded viewer is terrible, but once I did the pop out, it was fine.
Yeah, no, because I could see, because like I said, I usually have a computer that's got all of the feeds going next to me, and so I could see when like the cycling logo goes, and I can also see there's a little bit of a stutter on this computer as well, and I've got all of the readouts basically populating throughout the show.
You can see all of the greatness.
Well, I could see how much CPU is being used, how many frames per second, how many drop frames, and then of course the speed. And sometimes I just really want to cry when I see, like, if it's a really good part of the Thursday Night Hangout or maybe of my gaming session, and the speed has gone to 0. And so you're like, you're not seeing all this awesomeness that I'm doing. Damn it. But seriously, ladies and gentlemen, if you are any type of fan who enjoys a game like Borderlands, pick up Borderlands 3. It's good. It's good. All right, Sam, let's see here. If I were to start, if I were looking from, they switched over to a new collection management website. So they started this at, so let's see, the June 2020. So you go June 2020, my collection was valued at $3,200. And now it is valued at $4,200. So booyah. And I have not added those 4 new ones. At least those. Probably more. Okay, here's a gripe from me. So I've got this.
Gripe?
Yes. There's a website. It's called Pop Price Guide. It's a great website that allows you to basically put all of your pop collection. There's some other collections you can add as well. But then there is this other website. Where They say, think of the monitor and graphic card you could buy for that. Yes, I know.
I
Uh,
was at Best Buy today and I saw somebody walk out with a GTX 3070. I wanted to like steal from him.
just meet him at the car
I I
with a
I,
tire
I
iron.
have like I have a mystery bag from Best Buy. You don't know what's in it. It could be like worth $5. It could be worth $20,000. I'll trade you for the 3070. What do
Yep,
you think?
yep,
You're
yep.
willing to gamble?
No, but there's a website out there that allowed you to kind of catalog your comic books.
Hmm.
But it
Yep.
turns out that they only allowed you to catalog the first 20, and then you had to get a
Um,
paid subscription in order to put the rest of your. I'm like, I don't. I just want to know. I just want to see my collection. I don't give a shit about how much it's worth because the vast majority of my comic books I got out of like the dollar bin from random conventions. So I'm not expecting it to just, be earth shattering. Oh my God, I made such money.
yep.
That's for the Funko Pops.
Nice.
Yeah. All right, kids. I have to report to my own boss. So I
You have a
shall,
boss.
yeah, I shall talk to everyone later. Zelius, I need to chat with you for just a second. But peace out, my friends. See you soon.